Hi there, my name is Tina Atkinson, and I will be your presenter today for Equitable Access for All. Our printmaking trunks are on a roll. My co-presenter, Allison Ross, was unable to be with me to create this recording of our presentation, so I took some notes from her earlier today, and I will do the best I can to be both of us in these special circumstances. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see the slides that I have created, that we have created together, actually. And present. Please present. Sorry, taking a minute. All right. It's only like the second time I've ever done this. So here we go. This is a shareable resource. The printmaking, the traveling printmaking trunks that we've created, the presentation, even in PDF, was so large that I could not upload it to the website, the NAEA website, but I'm happy to share whatever I can with you. If you, my contact information will be at the end of the slide. So let's get started on how to develop, how we developed, and how you could develop these kits in your district. So who are we? Allison Ross is the Visual Arts Coordinator for Metro Nashville Public Schools, and she is sort of my boss. She's my supervisor. I am a visual art educator in Nashville Metro Public Schools, and I have been teaching elementary art K through 4 for the last 22 years. We decided that we should present this because it was a true collaboration between the two of us. You know, you dream of having a supervisor that when you call them up and you say, hey, I've got this idea. What do you think about this? And they think, I think it's a great idea. Let's do it. And then they do all the work. And then they come back and say, is this what you thought it would be? And I'd say, yes. And I helped a little bit, but I really feel like I came up with the idea and she just ran with it. So I appreciate her including me in this because it was just a thought in my brain, and she made it a reality. So it's pretty amazing. So why did we create these kits? There were several reasons that we created these kits. One, we were trying to foster collaboration within our district and collaboration from school to school and tier level to tier level. And we thought that this particular vehicle would be good to share those collaborations because people would be literally using the same materials as another school at a different time. And so that would be a level playing field for the ideas to spring from. Curricular support is another reason. Our curriculum includes printmaking in every grade level, and therefore it's really important that all of our schools and all of our students have access to those materials so that they can meet those curricular guidelines. Equity. Our schools in Metro Nashville have a wide range of funding inequities. There are some teachers, art teachers, that are operating on 85 cents per student per year. There are some programs that are operating on $10 per child per year. So that is a huge gap, a huge gap. And when you look at the cost of printmaking and you think about 20 bucks a brayer, right, a roller, you know, if you get 85 cents, let's make it easy math. If you get $1 a student for the whole year, you know, 20 bucks is a big chunk out of your budget. So you can't print with a class of 25 or 30 with just one roller. So, you know, that creates a gap in equity, and the funding has a lot to do with it. Engagement also. It's really important to us to be able to reach all of our learners, not just the learners that attend the $10 a kid school, but also the learners that attend the $0 a kid budgeted schools and the 85 cents per child schools. It's important that no matter where a child attends school, that they have the opportunity to experience these mediums and processes the same as any other child. Oh, okay, sorry, just checking my slide. So how did we get these words out, the word out that we were doing this? We did a lot of brainstorming, and Allison did a lot of shopping. And she decided that the best way to do this would be to roll it out at our district learning day at the beginning of this school year, 1920 school year. And so we have one day at the beginning of school before school starts that allows us to all be together as art teachers in all the tier levels. And so on that day, it's a big information dump. So we got a lot of information that day. We also got information about this particular resource. And in the afternoon, I was able to facilitate a group of teachers that actually got to try out some of the kits. And I think there were 3 teams of 2 teachers when we broke out in sections. And the teachers got to rotate through each of the different printmaking kits. So you could kind of choose the one you thought you might want to use and try that one out. The department newsletter and email blasts as well. Allison is really great about sending out some very aesthetically pleasing uh, communications to us. She knows that art teachers aren't going to pay attention to something that is bland, visually bland. So she tries to spice it up a little bit and get people's attentions. We have a district newsletter, departmental newsletter, so that's our visual and performing arts department, as well as e-blasts and emails specifically from her to the visual art teachers as well. Professional development sessions and shared experiences on social media. So we have a lot of, because we're a large district, we serve 87,000 students, 87,000 students. We're blessed to have a lot of very highly qualified art teachers who present professional development within our district and share their knowledge. We have a lot of teachers that come from a lot of different places and backgrounds, and it's great that we have that shared resource. So Allison is always planning and developing professional development sessions. This year we had additional printmaking sessions so that the teachers could become more familiar with the medium and more comfortable with the materials. And then we asked for teachers who use the kits to go ahead and share those experiences on social media. We have a closed MMPS Visual Arts Teachers Facebook page that I use a lot. I'm sure there are other things as well. I know a lot of the teachers have Instagram and Twitter, all kinds of things like that. I have a YouTube account. We try to share those things across social media to get the other teachers excited. Hey, how did you do that? You don't have any more money than I do. Well, where did you get all that stuff? Well, how do I get it? Those kind of conversations are what get people excited and get people signed up to check out the kits. So supporting professional development was a big key. And at the learning day we had at the beginning of the year, that was sort of like the appetizer. So, you know, the little sampler platter where you got a little taste of each of the 4 printmaking types. And we're going to talk more about those specific types in a minute. And then later in the year, there were more expanded whole day trainings that you could attend. And several other professional developments included printmaking in the day's agenda. I actually attended one in February. I think it was February. It might have been March. I'm not sure what day it is actually, since we've been out of school. But the last in-person professional development that I attended was presented by another art teacher colleague of mine, and one of the artists, the contemporary artist that she introduced using Lego prints in a very unique way. And so that was really exciting to see that, because I'm just starting to really get into Lego printing and experiment with it myself. The 4 types of printmaking kits that we decided to make were jelly plate prints, Gyutaku fish printing, Lego tile relief or collagraph printing, and the inscribed foam incised plate printmaking kit. So that comes with foam sheets for in-size plate. We're not gonna, it's geared towards non-toxic, friendly for all grade levels. Any art teacher, kindergarten through, well, even pre-K, kindergarten through 12th grade can check these kits out and use them for their particular grade level. So we were trying to make them advanced enough to be used in high school and simple enough in the materials to be able to be used in elementary school. So the teachers check out the kits using a Cognito form, and the link to the Cognito form is kind of tricky to find. I actually had trouble finding it, and I knew it was out there. That was the trick, right? I knew it was out there. So I emailed Allison and said, Allison, where is the link to the Cognito form? And she sent me the link, and then I was able to connect. Some people were not that excited about they don't really want to reach out to their supervisor and just ask them a question like that. And some supervisors are really glad for that. But in this particular case, we're trying to figure out a way to make that link more easily accessible. We've had several technological shifts and platforms over the last 3 years, even before all of this online learning kind of started. So it gets a little, you get a little change resistant at a certain point, and it becomes difficult to find things. So Allison is working on that to get those Cognito forms and those links readily accessible to all of our teachers. And the first step in that is getting them to know that they're even there, right? So the forums are where we get our data from, which is amazing because we got a lot of really amazing data from just 1 year of using these kits. So we've only been doing this for 1 year. So we have a lot of tweaks to make and a lot of room to grow. So this is how the teachers check out the kit. They find the link, or they ask somebody where to find the link, and then they can go on here, and there are certain specific questions about, how many students will be served, what grade levels are they in, your location, all those kinds of things, which kits you would like. And yes, you can check out more than one kit at a time. We had a high school teacher who checked out all 4 kits. She set it up as a printmaking sort of round robin in centers in her classroom. And for, I think, 2 weeks, her students just came in and did different forms of printmaking, and they experimented with all 4 different techniques. And they could even fish print over top of their Lego prints and add foam print. I mean, they could print on top of their prints and created some really amazing pieces of artwork that way. So what's inside the box? Well, the box is large and it is very durable and flexible, which is really good. Each kit contains everything you need to do this process. Like, if I could pick that kit up and bring it to my house, I would not need an art room to do it in. I could do it at the kitchen table. Everything is literally in there. Paper, ink, rollers. If you've got the Legos, you've got, you have, if you have Legos, the Lego printmaking kit, then you have the Lego pieces, you have the Lego platforms, you have the little staple removers, not the ones with the bitey teeth, but the ones that look like a metal fingernail on the end of a plastic stick. This is hard to do without being in person. Anyway, you can just lever those up off the platforms with them, and they work wonderfully. So that's all in the kit. Everything, even the paper, is in the kit. So you open the box and you're ready to roll right now. There's no prep work, really, when you get the kit. The Gayutaku box, the same thing. There are papers, there are foam rollers, and the rubber brayers are in there as well. The rubber speedball brayers, the hard speedball brayers, as well as foam rollers, because the foam works better over the bumpy fish. And it's just, we've decided that instead of paper in that kit, that we're going to put rice paper in that kit, because another teacher and I discovered that regular paper and little hands, not so awesome, but rice paper, which is more fabric-ish, much softer and more flexible, works amazingly well. especially even with little hands. So everything, even supporting lesson plans, links to presentations, uh, you can use with your students, or you can use as education for yourself, and links to video. I created a YouTube video for incised plate printing with the foam, and there's just a lot of resources in there as well. So the Gyutaku printmaking box, it includes a short history of the Gyutaku and the presentation outlining the process, as well as a link for interviews with different artists that use this process professionally. The two photographs to your left are from my classroom. We actually used rollers to roll ink backgrounds onto our rice paper, and then they brought their backgrounds to the middle table and chose a fish out of the pond and rolled the black foam roller ink over top of their fish, and then they laid their backgrounds over top of that, which was really cool because there was some ink transfer, and so there were little bright colors flecks on the fish and different interesting things that you get when you're printmaking that are so exciting. It was just a great experience, and I would have never dreamed of doing this with kindergarten without this kit, because I didn't have enough fish, and they don't weight well. I mean, you work with kindergarten or pre-K, you know, they don't weight well. So you need a lot of fish. So you have a lot of people printing at the same time, and the kit makes it possible. The jelly plates come with exactly what you see in this photograph, including a QR code that leads to a presentation that outlines the process. I struggled with jelly printing. I tried it several times before I really got the hang of it. And of course, like all good learning, I didn't really understand the process until I taught it to somebody else. So that's really exciting. We did some cellular structure prints last year in 4th grade to bridge a curriculum gap that was happening between 4th grade and 5th grade. And so that was really very exciting to see how the students created the prints and then interpreted them as cellular structures. That was really exciting. And you can see some students here working with stencils and found objects, found texture objects, and all of these things, except maybe the hand sanitizer currently. I don't know if there's hand sanitizer in there. There might be a run on these printmaking kits after all. But typically what you see here is what is in the kit. The Lego Relief Print Kit, or the Lego Colorgraph Print Kit, it has everything. So it has the 6x6 platforms, which, you know, usually run about $2 a piece. And I actually found them an off-brand in the Dollar Tree right before all this craziness happened, and for $1. So we have 9.5% sales tax in Tennessee. So $1.09. So that's like half price, right? Yeah, I bought all of them. So try a different Dollar Tree. But anyway, they come in the kit. So you wouldn't even have to buy that. You could get the kit. It has, I think there's 30 6x6 rectangle or square platforms in there, as well as all of these Lego pieces that you see on your screen. Now, the cup picture is to show you that what Allison did was she just went to the Lego store, got one of the big cups and filled it up. And that was that, I think maybe there's 2 cups in this container, but it wouldn't be more than 2. That's a lot of Legos, and you're using the half-size ones, not the full-size ones. So all of those resources are in there. There's a paper lesson plan. There's a link to more Lego resources. It's everything you could need. The incised plate printing comes with foam sheets. So those foam sheets are consumable, right? So when this kit comes back, those foam sheets are replaced and then it's sent back out again. So that keeps it refreshed. There's no printmaking surface, permanent printmaking surface in this kit like the Lego or the jelly or the Gyutaku fish. This is an activity that was done, it was actually taught at an in-service by colleague of mine, a visual art teacher here in Nashville, and she was creating the exquisite quartz inspired collaborative printmaking. So that was really fun to do as well. So some barriers and challenges. The first one was selecting the box. I was a big advocate of having wheels on the box because these boxes are big and they're heavy. And I was kind of rooting for the two wheels on one side kind of box where you just lift one side and drag it down the hallway and you don't get yelled at for scratching the floor kind of thing. But those boxes were well out of our price range. So after much searching and researching and re-researching, Allison discovered that not all plastics are created equal. Some are very brittle. Some boxes don't stay latched. All kinds of different things came into play in selecting the boxes. And it took quite a while for her to actually come to one that she really felt like was a good, solid container, and also one that really was going to house and take the beating of transporting it from school to school to school. But the box that you saw on the slide earlier was the selected box. Access and ease of requesting. I talked a little bit about that. Knowing the link is there and being able to find it, not always the same thing. Adequate training for teachers and students. So that brings me to this picture on the slide here. That thing there was formerly known as a jelly plate until one afternoon, a student, after washing it, forgot to take it out of the sink. And the next morning, when the art teacher entered the room and went back to the sink, she found this, only it was upside down because it had shaped in the shape of the depressed sink drain. So that was not awesome, and that one will have to be replaced. However, there's no way we could have predicted that was going to happen. But that's one of those things that if the teacher doesn't know it's going to happen, then the students won't know it's going to happen. And you know how specific your directions need to be very often with your students. So to make sure that those jelly plates are dried on a flat surface, patted dry and left on a flat surface, it's a big deal. Yeah. And so that is probably the most expensive replacement that we'll have for this year. So repeated promotion, again, we put it out there on the first day back from school. And then we sent out newsletters and e-blasts, and people posted about it, and it just had to keep, we had to keep singing the praises. Check out the Lego trunks, check out the trunks, check out the printmaking trunks. Hey, did you know we have this? Have you ever tried this? Why don't you check it out? It would be awesome. My kids love this. This is what we did. And look what they created, and look how many different ways they figured out how to use this. And so just getting that excitement and knowledge, it's just, you have to keep repeating it. We have these things, we have these things, use these things. How can I help you use these things? What else do you need so that you'll want to use these things? Tweaking the instructional material. So, and the included material. I like to use regular water-soluble block printing ink when I print on jelly plates. I have had really good luck with specifically the Blick block printing ink. I don't have any trouble with it on there. It makes beautiful prints, and the kids work with it really well, except for the magenta. It washes out of your clothing. And so I'm not super comfortable letting my kids run wild with acrylic paint. And that's what's included in the gel plate box. So, you know, that could be a barrier if people would rather use block printing ink than acrylic paint. You know, maybe the high school likes to have the acrylic paint, but the elementary school would rather use the block printing ink. Maybe both need to be in the box. You know, those kinds of little tweaking things. The type of paper. So right now we just putting kind of copy paper in the box because it's cheap and inexpensive, and you can print lots of copies, and if you end up throwing them away, nobody's really going to cry over it. But for the Gyutaku, the rice paper really works the best. So rice paper is a little more expensive. So pricing that out, figuring out the size of the paper that needs to be included and how many sheets of it, and making sure that people understand that this is a one, this paper is special, and we're not going to be making 55 prints of it until we get one print that we like. So we're still tweaking some of the materials inside the kits. Changes in schedules and late returns. So that's pretty self-explanatory to this crowd. I think, school schedules change all the time. We're living in the middle of a perfect example of that. However, in a normal school year, there are abnormal circumstances. And, if you can only have this box for 2 weeks and you see your kids once every 8 days, that's going to be a problem for you. So that might be a barrier, and other things like that. Or if somebody had a class that was on a field trip and they kept it a couple extra days so those kids could have the opportunity to explore the medium, and then you get it 2 days late and you're teaching on a 9-week schedule, like that's a problem. So there are some challenges and barriers that we're still trying to work out. And of course, the picture says it all. Accidents do happen and things need to be replaced. Those Legos are sneaky too. I keep finding them all, well, when we were at school, I kept finding them all over my room. So this is our progress so far. I really feel proud of all the work that Allison's done, and kind of seeing my idea come to life, that we have been able to serve 2,800 students with these printmaking kits this year, so far this year. That's just this year as of February, because we pulled this data before COVID-19. So that's 2,800 students between August and like February 15th. So there's a whole nother 12 weeks of school left at the time. So you could anticipate even that number being higher if we pulled the data till the end of the school year, assuming that we were at school. That would be. So as you can see, there's one area that really loves these kits, and there's one area that almost never uses it. And so for our next year, for our goal, we would like to increase the number of students served by 10%. And I think if we could just go to school every day for like 10 months, that we could totally make that goal. If we went to school in March and April and May, I think that a 10% increase that's almost not even challenging, but that is our goal for next year, is to increase by 10%. And then also to increase the number of middle school checkouts. So we would like to figure out a way to better accommodate those middle school schedules. Most of our district runs the middle school schedules on a 9 weeks course. So they're teaching their whole year's curriculum in 9 weeks. And so that scheduling's got to be kind of tight. And if you say you need it on this day, it needs to be there the day before so you can use it that day. And we don't quite have that control over the delivery and pickup of the kits at this time. So we're still learning that process as well. Surprisingly, the Lego kit is the most popular and represents almost 40% of our checkouts for the whole year, or at least until April 15th. And then followed closely by Gyutaku, the fish prints, and then jelly plates and incised plate. I was shocked. I actually would have bet money that it would be the jelly plates that everybody would want to check out, because jelly plates are cool, they're new, they're exciting, they're squishy, and everybody does these amazing things. I love to stand at the NAEA conference. I love to go into the vendors area and just stand there and watch the gel plate ladies just print and print and print, and it's just so much fun to watch them and what they can do. And I think I'm going to do that, and then I go home and I'm all excited, and I would have bet money that the gel plates were but they weren't. It was Legos all the way. And now that I've experienced that with my students, I can totally understand why. So how would this work for you? Since we can't really take live questions because I do not currently have a live studio audience here in the room with me, funding, how much did it cost, Tina? How much did it cost, Allison, to get this whole thing rolling, so to speak? Well, it was about $2,800 is the initial investment. That's for the boxes, the brayers, the initial ink and paper consumables, the foam, the plates, the Legos, all that together, $2,800. So we would like to increase our library of shareable resources and open the door for collaboration. That's one of the things that one of our goals was really to open the door for collaboration. And we've had success at that. And we're not sure how to measure that success yet, but we definitely feel like we have people that are collaborating and we're seeing ideas being carried over into different places and used in different ways. So it's not just I share a lesson with you and you go teach it with your children, but I share a lesson with you and then you make it your own for your own population and you share a version of that with your student. So it's always mutating and adapting so that you're seeing that collaboration and then carry that on between our schools across the district. So the email blasts, if you have the opportunity to advertise for this resource, that is immensely helpful in implementing this program, is just keep telling them it's there. It's there. Hey, look what we've got for you. Look at this. Did you know this was here? It's amazing. Look at all, oh, look how cool it is. Professional development. Find your local experts. Find some people that are comfortable with these materials. Send them the kit and say, make me some videos, or heavens, you can share our videos. There are enough videos online and demonstrations online that are really wonderful that you can share to help people feel more comfortable. But really the best way is to get everybody together whenever we're allowed to be together, anyway, it is, and do some professional development. Let them explore the material and talk to one another, because that is the most priceless thing, is just to be able to talk to somebody else who does what you do, to be able to, really brainstorm and bounce ideas off of each other, and hey, we could use this, or hey, my principal always wants me to do this and I was thinking I could do that. And I was just on online at Art of Ed, and they have a project, and I'm probably gonna say the name wrong, but it's the Artistic Response Postcard Project, I think it's called. And I thought that was an amazing idea. So people make postcards, they send them to this specific address, and then these ladies are sharing them online, and then they're going to create a collaborative piece with them. And I thought that is an amazing idea. I would like to take that to my little people and have them and their families create postcards, and then bring all those in and use them as like sort of this welcome back display in our school building. I mean, and what better way to make postcards than printmaking, right? I love me some printmaking. Anyway, so, the ideas are endless. And one of the best ways to really get people excited about this is to get them together and get them talking about it. So I'm sure you have more burning questions for me. However, I can't hear them right now, but I would love for you to post feedback and questions in the comment areas below. And Allison and I will be happy to respond to those as best we can. You can also reach us directly. You can contact us through email directly. Allison Ross and myself, featured here on the screen with the sparkles. And you can email us directly and with any questions you have, and we'll be happy to answer those. So it's been a pleasure sharing this resource with you. And I would love, and I know Allison would as well, We would love any feedback if you try something similar in your district or in your organization. If you get this program rolling in your own area, even if you're a rural area, if you're a museum person and you serve rural districts, this would be a great opportunity for you to engage and outreach with the classroom educators, with the visual art teachers in your districts, because rural educators, art educators especially, um, they could use some resources and some love. I'm in an urban district, and so it feels like I have an abundance of resources and colleagues that I can call on. But I know that when you're out there and there's 3 of you in a district and you're way out in the middle of nowhere and there's no really craft centers or museums around you, it can really feel like you're all by yourself. But just please know that you're not, and we would be happy to hear from you. So thank you for taking the time to engage in this presentation, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day.